Welcome to Yin Yoga Lifestyle. I am your host, Colette Darville. Cultivating our body's resilience and inner silence and its application to all aspects of your life. Let's become enlightened and enjoy the power of intuitiveness and creativity. You are listening to Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I am your host, Colette Darville, and this is Yin Yoga Lifestyle. So now let us take a deep meditative breath. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. Fitch is the CEO, owner of Key to Life Training, aka the Pink Powerhouse, Manatee County's premier all-female, fully equipped training and cycling facility in Bradenton, Florida. Her studio has been named the best in Bradenton in education for the last 4 years. Was 2018 Minnesota Black Chamber of Commerce's Small Business of the Year and is recognized by Manatee Chamber of Commerce's Better Business Council. Key specializes in weight loss, personal and group training, and athletic sports conditioning. She is a chemical engineer by training, but has truly found her calling by helping transform the lives of women through diet, fitness, and education for 19 years. She has certifications as a personal trainer, sports nutritionist, running coach, seniors fitness coach, spin instructor, and group fitness instructor. She is a 3-time Team USA do athlete and won the bronze medal in the 2015 National USAT Duathlon Championship. And even though Key is a busy professional, she is also the host of the podcast on this station, Pink Powerhouse. She is also mom to 3 amazing sons, ages 24, 17, and 15. Welcome to Yin Yoga Lifestyle, Key. Such a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Colette. It's an honor to be able to do this interview with you.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. Okay, we're going to go back a little bit further back in time. And I'm going to ask you, can you tell us who or what lured you from a career in chemical engineering to become a fitness professional?
I think, quite frankly, it was universe and timing. So I moved to Florida in 2006 from Michigan. Mm-hmm. While I was in Michigan, I did work as a chemical engineer. I did that for 10 years.
Wow.
And I've always been into fitness, and I did training on the side, kind of part-time when I got off of work. And so that is kind of what I did for a few years until I had children. And so my time was pretty much scarce. And so I had to kind of give up the part-time work with training and focus more so on my kids because I only had so many hours during the day. So I would go to my engineering job, and any other time that I had outside of my main job, it was spent with my family and my kids. And then we fast forward to 2006, moved to Florida, and quite frankly, the area isn't really saturated for chemical engineers in terms of from a profession. Right. And so I made the decision to kind of just stay at home with the kids. They were ages 2 and 4, and the 24-year-old, my nephew, he was 12 at the time. And we picked up and we moved away from everything they knew and loved in Michigan. And so I wanted to take a little bit of time to kind of get them acclimated. Yeah. So that lasted about 18 months before I started driving myself and everybody else in the house crazy. I don't think I'm cut out to stay at home for an extended period of time. And so then that's when I started getting back into fitness and doing that part-time when the kids were at school.
So you created this studio, and it's an all-female training facility. And I love your vision statement. And the vision statement is this: to motivate and empower women to maximize their potential in every area of their lives by developing strength and confidence physically and mentally. Wow. Can you explain the concept of your studio? I mean, that says it in a nutshell, but can you just enlighten us even more?
Yeah, and I can expand upon that. Quite frankly, when people feel good, they do good.
Yeah.
Uh, and quite frankly, it's not just about an external thing, but it's internal as well. And what I found that if people are doing things that's bettering them, whether it's from a strength standpoint or whether it's from a medical standpoint, when all those things are moving along and progressing in the same direction, then you have the energy to do the other things that you want to do, and then B, you have the confidence to do it. And so the whole premise of that statement is at least I've noticed from my 19 years of training is that you can change somebody's image of themselves if you change how they view themselves and how they think people view them. And
Yes.
if you're empowered from a strength standpoint, from an endurance standpoint, then you and if you challenge yourself from a physical standpoint, then it's not much that you don't think that you can do. And so once you got the emotional and the physical component set, then you're at your best, and then you can perform at your best, and that goes in every area of your life.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that you have an all-female training facility because many women, I'm kind of throwing this question out there to you, that they do feel intimidated by going into a gym with men sometimes, right?
Yeah, and in fact, I think I read a statistic that 65% of women do not go to gyms, or the ones that don't go, they
Yeah.
don't go because of that, the intimidation, the
Yeah.
fear, being judged, being critiqued. And that tends to happen more when it's a co-ed gym versus when it's just people of the same gender. And what I found is that the women that come here, you're not worried about somebody's looking at you for the wrong reasons,
Right.
and you're not worried about somebody sizing you up in terms of how much you can lift, how fast you can go. And it's just a comfort level. And what I like about an all female facility, and it's much um, I would say any type of club. It's a
Yes, right.
like
It's like a community.
it's a community. It's like-minded people doing
Yeah.
similar things, encouraging, motivating each other. And it's kind of like it's our own version of a girl locker room, if you will. Uh,
Yes.
Quite frankly, we are all the demographics of my studio, I would say, would be low end, will probably be like 25, all the way up to, I think my oldest client is like 74. And
Okay.
so we run the spectrum in that. And it's comforting to know that regardless of people's ages, regardless of people's socioeconomic background or what they look like, their nationality, we all kind of at the core kind of go through the same stuff, if you will. And
Yes.
what I found is that these women, they bond not only on the actual programming of the training, but also from life experiences as well. So
Yeah. Oh, that's so wonderful. I think you could franchise this.
that is the plan.
Yeah, good girl.
The plan.
Um, Now, many women focus mainly on their families and their careers, and they leaving their own well-being to chance. And it's usually either a health crisis that gets them back to take action. What can women do to inspire themselves to be healthier?
Well, you kind of look at it. Sometimes money is a motivation, and I say that because you don't want. Uh, Sometimes it's too late to start if you wait
Right.
till a crisis happens. So that's one. But also, if you look at the rising cost of healthcare, you know, it,
Yes.
it's much cheaper to stop something from happening in the beginning than trying to treat it after the fact.
Right.
And so I think, one of the big things that people need to find and identify is their why. Their why.
Mm.
You look, if you have children, if you have pets, if you have a nice career or what a family, those people or those things are things that you kind of want to be around for, and quite frankly, the obesity crisis is very serious here in the United States. It's estimated like now close to 40% of Americans are obese.
That's a lot. That's a
That's
huge
quite a bit,
percentage.
and that's doubled in the last like 15 years or so.
Wow.
And so that's an epidemic, you know.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, we can't afford to for that number to get any bigger. And so what I tell women is you kind of got to identify your reason why. You know, I want to be able to see my grandkids. I want to be able to, if I can, franchise my studio. So I need to be in the best health possible. And I need to be able to be in my right mind and of good physical condition so I can get these things done. And I don't want to be a burden to my family.
Right. Yes. That is very true. And well, have you noticed, is there a trend toward younger women wanting to start a fitness routine? And how important is it to start young?
Well, I think well, first of all, it's very important to start young. And I think it's all about forming good habits, you know. And so, quite frankly, my children, they both exercise, they both play sports, but
Mhm.
it's something that they've seen their whole life. So, for instance, even they were growing up, before they had a chance to get on a video game, they had to run a mile on a treadmill or they had to swim some laps in the pool to earn access to the video games. And
Right.
so it was something that they realized they had to do, but then they also saw me and their dad as well. So it became a part of life. And so I think what happens is I gave you a statistic about the adulthood obesity. Well, it's
Mhm.
even worse for adolescents. That number has quadrupled
Ooh, that's
last
awful.
quadrupled. And quite frankly, it's the habits and it's what they're seeing at home, right? And so
Right.
part of my mission is I say I want to empower women because oftentimes women are the backbones of the family and they kind of drive the direction that the family goes into. And
Yes.
so if you have that woman that's empowered, that's exercising, that is very conscious of what the family is eating, those kids develop those habits of seeing mom exercise, of knowing how to make the right food choices, and then they tend to take those habits into their families as they grow up and they become mothers or fathers. And
Right.
so it's there's a big push for that to happen right now. If it's not happening in home, Play 360, Play 60, and some other youth organizations are trying to, if it's not coming from the parents, try to come at it from an organization and try to teach these kids. So if they can't get it from their home life, at least they can learn 12, 13 what to do. And then maybe that can be habit forming at that age because that's an epidemic as well.
Gosh, that's yeah, we need to change things right away.
Yeah.
Um, do women train differently than men?
Well, you mean do
Like,
they or should they?
yeah, yeah, in the gym. So, do you know you
It's I find just well there's a so it's kind of like a bell curve, if you will.
yeah.
And I think if I had to just kind of maybe not stereotypes, if I just had to kind of lump how women train versus men. First of all, if a woman is not really used to a gym and used to understanding how resistance training, how it affects your body, sometimes women can have the misconception that they'll get too bulky if they resistance train, if they
Right.
strength train. And so they may tend to focus on cardio more so versus the strength training aspect. Um, but just from a purist standpoint, and how men and women train, women tend to be a little bit more cautious. Um, it might be
Mm,
the aspect of thinking they're bulky, but we're just more cautious, I think, in general. And so we won't try to max out our first set. Whereas men, on the other hand, they go balls to the wall, and sometimes
right.
women shouldn't. Sometimes
Right.
shouldn't.
Right.
So you have the two extremes. You have the women who are very cautious, and the men who go balls to the wall. Now,
Right.
in terms of why men and women train, um, what I found that I think is most helpful, first of all, women, you won't get real bulky if you